Hey everybody, so I just wanted to hop up here real quick to talk about why buyers should stop waiting for interest rates to drop if they want to become a homeowner. So I did have a few points, but let me tell y'all why I think buyers should be paying attention in the market right now. So if you're a person that's been sitting on the sidelines waiting because or you're waiting cash, or you're just scared, you might be missing out on some good opportunities, especially in today's market. Right now is not just about interest rate, it's really about how you structure the deal. So, point number one, rates are not the only thing that matters. So, everyone is so focused on interest rates, but really it's only one piece of the puzzle. When you are purchasing a home, you want to look at the entire deal. You want to look at the entire transaction. And the things that you want to ask yourself is, what are you paying for the house? How much are you bringing to closing? How much is the monthly payment going to be? Is it going to be lower than the payment that you're paying to rent right now? How much is the seller willing to contribute? A higher interest rate on a really good deal sometimes makes more sense than a lower interest rate on something where you're paying for everything out of pocket. So I want y'all to stop shopping for interest rates and start shopping for a good deal. So today's theme is we're releasing the chains of interest rates from everybody's spirit. That you can always refinance later. So the rate that you have today is not necessarily the rate that you're going to be locked into forever. So if the rate comes down in the future, you have the opportunity to refinance. Of course, you want to make sure that it makes financial sense to you. But here's the thing, you cannot go back today. You cannot go back and buy today's house at today's price once the price increases. So, yesterday's price is not today's price when it comes to houses. So, your mortgage payment can change, your mortgage rate can change, but the date that you buy the house cannot change. Can't change that. So, you want to get in where you fit in as soon as possible. We're not going back on prices. And the reason I want you to think about that is there once was a time where you could purchase a house for $20,000, and that was like the price. Where can you purchase a house for 20,000 that is livable for a family in the United States of America? I want y'all to think about that. So yesterday's price is not today's price. So point number three, right now, sellers are helping buyers with closing costs. So the biggest reason why I think buyers need to be paying attention right now is because sellers are willing to negotiate and contribute towards the buyer's closing costs in today's market. And that means less money out of pocket for you. Instead of asking the seller to drop the price, you may want to kind of structure the deal you so that it offers you a bigger financial benefit up front. By the seller paying your closing costs, you may be able to come to the closing table with no money out of pocket. And then a seller will pay for everything. So right now, if you're a person that you're renting and you were already thinking about going to rent a house because you have to move, you may be able to purchase a house for the same money that you're about to go put down on a deposit for another rental. So again, instead of asking sellers to drop the price, we can renegotiate everything. Right now, sellers are paying closing costs. They're buying down rates and everything. So I'm not just trying to get y'all the house. I want y'all to figure out how to get the house while keeping as much of your money in your pocket as possible. And now is the time that you are able to do that. Right now is the time to purchase a house with no money out of pocket at the closing table. Granted, you do need about $2,000 to get your home inspection, appraisal, all of those good things. But then after that, it's literally get a house with no money out of pocket. And if you're a person that's paying rent right now, now you can start contributing monthly to building your equity, building your future. Okay, y'all back. So I had a phone call come through. Let's get to the next point. The next thing, number four, you can potentially buy down your rate. A lot of people don't know about this, but a thing that if you're purchasing a home, if you're a buyer, you're a person that wants to be a future homeowner, what you need to know is that rates can be bought down. There are situations where sellers can contribute money towards buying down your interest rate. So of asking again the seller to reduce the price, you can negotiate for money that helps get that rate down. So there are temporary buy downs, there are permanent buy downs, but long story short, you just need to look at the numbers, see what makes sense for you. But those rates can be bought down. So what you may be looking at that might be at 6%, they may be able to buy it down to 5%. And we're talking about all home sellers right now. We're talking about regular people and builders all doing this stuff. So they're contributing to closing costs, they're buying down rates, they're contributing to everything that you need so that when you go to the closing table, you can have $0. Now is the time to be writing disrespectful offers. Now is the time, if you're a person that wanted to become a homeowner, or you wanted to get into real estate investing, or you just wanted to find a good real estate deal, now is the time for us to shine. I'm an investor myself, so I love this market. So this is another thing that I wanted to say. When you put all of these things together and you stop assuming what you can do, or that you automatically assume that you should wait, that's not true. Right now, we're in a market where you have better negotiating power. You can negotiate seller concessions. You can have them pay your closing costs. You can have them do all of the repairs. We are now back in a market where if the roof looks a little iffy, the roof look like it's like 30 years old, 20 years old, you can ask the seller to replace the roof. We can ask for roofs right now. Back when we had those 2 and 3% interest rates, we couldn't do all of that. Sellers did not want to. You had to go 30, 40, $50,000 over the price because it was multiple offers. You had to do so much out of pocket, thousands of dollars, when the rent interest rates were 2 and 3% up front. Now we're in a market where sellers, their houses are sitting for a little bit more. The sellers are not used to their house being on the market for a week. So then they start to get a little crazy. They're like, oh my God, let's offer $15,000 in closing. They're doing that right now. So again, you have more negotiating power. You can negotiate seller concessions. You can help them pay your closing costs. You can get a rate buy down. You can negotiate those things up front, especially when you're working with a professional and you come up front like, hey, I want to ask for the world when I send out my offers. Your agent's going to say yes because we're in the market to do that. So the other thing is, I want y'all to not get caught up on interest rates, because if interest rates go down in the future, you have the opportunity to refinance it and get that lower rate. So you're never locked out of a lower rate in the future. What you will be locked out is a lower price on the house right now, because again, today's price is not yesterday's price. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Everything goes up. You can't even go buy a gallon of milk for $1. I remember, y'all, I don't know how old I am. I'm like 38, 39. We don't have to do the math. But back in my day, gas was under $1. Where can you go find gas for under $1 right now per gallon in America? Nowhere. That's how things progress over time. These houses are not go down. So you want to get your assets now, because assets are going to appreciate. You want to make sure that instead of you spending your monthly payment, paying rent, and building somebody else's wealth and building someone else's equity and putting money in somebody else's pocket, you can put that same money into your pocket, your equity, your future, your wealth. Then you have a tangible asset that you can leave to your children or whoever. Some of us don't have kids, whoever you want to leave it to. Time for your person on the sidelines, you've been waiting. It's time to shine. So I'm not saying everybody needs to go out and run and buy a house and everybody needs to get in the game. But what I'm saying is, if you're a person that's been waiting, if has been a thought in your mind, you're a person that wanted to become a homeowner, or you wanted to upgrade, downgrade, whatever, now is the perfect time. Now is the time for buyers. It's definitely a buyer market, and we have unlimited opportunities right now. We don't want those rates to go back and decrease or go down, because then it's going to be more competition. Now if the rates go down, now you got to fight somebody. Now you got to go 20,000 over asking, and you got to pay all your stuff, and you got to be locked into the rate, and you got to, you put your own roof on. Now sellers are negotiating. So if you're a person that you've been waiting because you've been waiting for the perfect interest rate, opportunities are limitless right now. Put your application in. If you need help, send me a message, call me, text me, Google me, find me on Facebook, comment on this video. But now is the time. It's the time. I'm out here looking for another house. So again, I'm gonna close this out, get off here. But if you're and you want to know what your options are, just comment the word buyer on this video or reach out to me. Y'all have a great day. And let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all, do y'all think the market is going to crash? Do you think interest rates are going to go down? Let me know what you think.